7 o'clock. We will start our meeting now. The regular Armada Village Council meeting will now come to order. Will everybody rise for the pledge to the flag? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to have roll call now. Cooper?
Here.
Cohen?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Attorney Maharski?
Here.
And Wallach? And Mr. Ballard? Mr. Ballard, thank you for all here except our 2 vacancies. Tonight we approval of our agenda. So what is the council's wishes to the agenda?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
A second.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time now, the floor is opened up for citizen comments. We would like to try to keep your comments to possibly around 3 minutes or so. If we can get it closed within that amount of time, which would probably be real good. Maybe there's others that want to talk. Thank you. Number 1 can stand.
Great, thank you.
State your name for the record.
Wendy Atkins. Thank you for hearing me tonight. My husband and I bought some property east of the village, and it is adjacent to the village. It's in the township right now, and we were considering developing the 20 acres of woods. I have a map of where the property is, but before we even consider that, we need to ask for city sewer and water and decide if you have enough for maybe another 15 to 20 home sites. And that's my question. Would we be able to tap in? I know when Fritz built the subdivision in Madison, he kind of dead-ended 2 streets that just are, you know, butting up to that woods.
But he put in the sewer and water.
Yeah.
We didn't put that in, he put that in.
Okay.
So is this the woods directly in back of the church there?
Yep, yep. So St. Mary's has that little 10 acres of woods there that they did a nice little path, and then we have the woods right behind it, all the way to the Macomb Orchard Trail. So it's about 20 acres that we're considering developing. It's currently township property. We can go, you know, as small as 1 acre.
1 acre lots is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or-
if it was in the township, but if it was annexed into the village, then it could be different. And I understand that the little woods there that St. Mary's has is village.
Would you be considering annexing into the village?
I'd be considering that, sure.
Are you asking if we would do that? Is that your
I'm
question?
asking if I did tap into the city sewer and water, is there enough to provide for another, you know, development there? And if I could, right now we've got an engineer that we're going to be working with and an architect. And so before I had them come to all meetings, you know, needed to decide. First thing is about water.
Do you have a site plan developed yet, or any type? Okay.
No.
It's we really couldn't tell you one way or the other because, as you pointed out, it's going to depend a lot on the density of your development. And we obviously have to deal with the DEQ, especially on the water end, the water supply end. So we probably need to, I know you don't want to expend the money, but we probably would at least need to sit down with your engineer, kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. I would suggest that first, so you don't incur a lot of costs. But we would have to have more questions answered before we gave you a formal commitment.
Okay. Yeah. Just didn't know if you needed to do a feasibility study for 20 more sites or what, but
But you said if you annex in, it'd be more than 20, right?
not necessarily.
Okay.
You know, we have a vision for the community to be, a little bit bigger lot size than what they have going down there.
But we have capacity for that. I mean, we have that capacity available, if everything else was met. I didn't see that we don't have a capacity problem.
Oh, you know, okay.
Would you say we have a capacity problem for adding 20?
I would have to see what their density is gonna be before I
Right.
can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, 20 acres, if you were connected to village utilities, you could do a lot more than 20.
Correct.
You got it, right?
But she said, I thought she said 20 residents.
No, I
She's
think
not.
what you were saying, I don't mean to put
It's-
words, what you were saying
it's
is,
20
if
acres.
nothing else happened,
Okay.
under the township regulations, you would have 20 lots. Once you connect to village utilities, you can go a much higher density because you've got sewer particularly.
So could you keep in the township and tap into city sewer and water? Or would you prefer the annex?
You would have to annex, I believe.
Your rates would be higher in the township if we go out to township, is the way I see it.
Right, because you have property taxes helping to,
I'm not so sure we would want to do like a subdivision, tap into a subdivision out there. We'd rather have that become part of the village, like we have there now.
Because we own our roads too, and the township does not own their roads. So that would kind of be real difficult. People don't expect plowing like we have. And if you're a township, they wouldn't get that out there. So it would create some problems out there streetwise as well.
Yes, it would.
So-
Well, that's not creating for one of the police.
Oh, absolutely, yes. They would not have a police department in that area either.
Yeah, I think it's right here on the map too.
Yeah.
what we're
Yes.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Because the other idea was to come in off of Ridge, right between St. Mary's and where Daryl Dawson lives, and build a road all the way back through there, which would be an expense. So the other option was just continuing on the whole thought of those roads that were just kind of left at a dead end. They're not even a cul-de-sac. So it's just an idea. It's the very beginning, so I guess I'll get the engineer to give you a call and answer some more
Yeah,
questions.
call the office here, and, the clerk's office here can do help some scheduling, possibly, with you on it. And so what information you get, and give them the information.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. guys.
Thank you. We
Thanks
look
for
forward to
stopping
hearing
in.
from you.
Okay, thank you, it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Anyone else at this time would like to address the council? Citizen comments is ended. There is a presentation tonight. That's part of the chief's department.
Administrative reports right
Oh, you can do that? All right. So no presentations then, other than the administrative. So,
You're opening
Your
it up?
deal.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, kids, you're on.
do they want to come up and center here too, chief?
Probably one
Do
at
I?
a time.
Do they want to come up and center?
I think the officers and the dogs should, sure, absolutely.
For anyone that doesn't know, this is Officer Vicari and his new K-9 unit, Otto.
Hello?
Should we do Vicari first and then? Oh, okay.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay. So the whole village can take a look at Otto's. Well, we wanted to present them with their awards. They went through all their training and they got their certificates of completion for the narcotics detection and tracking, so they are now certified. And in addition to that, they also won second place from the narcotics detection team for Washtenaw County, which is where the training is based out of. So great job. Good job, Otto. All right, and Officer Newmeyer has Gretchen. And those that aren't aware, Atos was paid all by donations. And I believe Gretchen is as well through the drug forfeiture fund, is that correct?
Actually, Officer Newmeyer brought Bullet with him from the Macomb County Sheriff's Office and picked up Gretchen on his own. He did that. But the outfitting, the vehicle, and that was all done with drug forfeiture funds. No tax dollars were used.
For either of these dogs.
That's
So
correct.
it's great for our village. We want to also present Gretchen and Officer Newmeyer with their certificate of completion for the narcotics detection and tracking. And they got 3rd place in the detection team through Washtenaw County. So great job, guys. Thank you so much for all your work and dedication to the village. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Good job, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. That concludes my liaison report.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes,
Mr. Ballard?
Mr. President, I met last Monday with our local fair board, and the fair board is going to assist us with parking for our East Main Street residents. We'll be parking in by the Grange Hall, and the exit to the fairgrounds will be over on Fair Street, so that during our East Main Street construction, which we're going to go into tonight, they will be able to have access to their cars. And so I want to thank the Armada Fair Board for that assistance.
Very good, thanks, Mr. Brown. Anyone else?
On the planning commission,
Yes, Mr. Brown.
you can read the minutes there, but just give people an update. Not the IGA anymore, I think it's the Smart Store, is on schedule. And if you go by there, you see that they've paved the new addition to the new driveway and the parking. That'll come off of Fulton Street. So that seems to be moving very well.
Okay, the understanding is that they will be around Memorial Day or shortly after. Is that correct?
Right, and we did have a very unique problem with the IGA. We were actually in violation of our parking ordinance by having too many parking places.
I read that.
And the idea behind that is so that the municipality doesn't get like a concrete jungle going. That was not going to be our problem, and we were able to get around that and keep the maximum amount of parking places there. So it just seemed a little crazy to try to eliminate parking places here in Armada when they've been at such a premium. But we've got that worked out, and everything's go.
Good job.
Good, very good. So I think we're proud to have a new complex in that area now, so being, close to our community and residents, for some time as it was, and so it will be a great improvement for people not to go out of town and shop in town for us. So I'm very pleased to hear that, so thank you. Let's see. The next is the consent agenda. What is the council's wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Then moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. There's no old business tonight. We're going to go into the new business. A would be engineer's update of the East Main Street project. So, state your name for the record.
Roland Alex with Upper Rock and Clark. Thank you for having me here tonight. I just wanted to give a brief update of the East Main Street project. It's exciting. It's been a long time in the making. Fortunately, last year the state ran out of funds, so it got pushed a year. But all proper paperwork is in this year. And quick schedule update tonight. You will be asked to approve the local agency agreement. That's the kind of final agreement between the village and MDOT. After that is approved, it takes about 1 week after your approval of that for the contract to be awarded to Ajax. Following closely on the heels of that award, we'll have a pre-construction meeting where members of Albemarle and Clark, who will be doing the inspection and observation for the project, representatives from Ajax, and people from representatives of the village will get together. We'll talk about the start of the project, some of the pitfalls and important things to the village. That'll be the time where we'll have the direct conversation between Ajax and you guys. And then we're expecting construction to start very closely after Memorial Day, so we're estimating Tuesday, May 26th would be the start of construction. And everybody is aware how important the fair is, and tentatively we're hoping for a beginning of August completion, but that will be dependent on weather and other problems that may arise during construction. The second project I'm here to talk about is your water main replacement project, which is at the west end of East Main Street, and it's an addition to the MDOT contract. It is paid for 100% by the village. There's no MDOT participation in that, or federal participation. Ajax has provided you with a quote to complete that work, which we'll be asking you guys to approve tonight, and then it would be combined with the current contract with Ajax as a contract modification. And that modification would be requested after the award of the contract. And that project should also start soon after Memorial Day, around May 26th. So that's my update. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
So we'll get some other documentation on the modification?
Correct, yeah, so after the award, after the contract has been awarded, so you've signed the agreement, you presented to MDOT, they've accepted it, they've officially awarded the contract to Ajax. HRC, who's performing your contract administration for the project, will fill out a contract modification request to MDOT.
Okay.
And the cost estimate, or the estimate that Ajax prepared that you'll be seeing tonight, will be incorporated as part of that contract modification. And then that additional cost for the water main work will then be rolled into the East Main pavement replacement job.
So MDOT did they appoint Ajax?
So, yeah, so if we want to take a step back, the project was bid. They had 4 different contractors who responded with quotations. Ajax was the lowest reasonable bidder. They had to be the lowest bidder. We reviewed their bid, felt that it was acceptable. There weren't any obvious errors. And so at this point, it is the recommendation that you'll be signing tonight. The agreement is between yourselves and Ajax. And so they were the lowest bidder, and that's what you guys are approving tonight.
For the water main work.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, what about
The road work would be a contract between Ajax and MDOT.
has MDOT already awarded that to
Well,
Ajax?
they're in the process of doing that.
So are we premature in awarding our water to Ajax if MDOT decides not to do Ajax?
Well, you're not awarding your water to Ajax at this point. You're approving the estimate, and you're approving it to be rolled into the contract.
Oh,
And so,
okay, I misunderstood.
It's kind of a rider
Okay.
that has to be attached after the
Okay.
contract is formed between Ajax.
Okay, I misunderstood,
Yeah,
sorry.
no problem.
The other interesting thing to note, since I think your last MDOT project, MDOT has formally changed their process. One, they've gone somewhat paperless, so that's on your agenda to have somebody here be the signer, electronic signer of documents. But now the village will sign all the pay applications and all contract mods.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot.
Which will,
That's all part of Lars?
no,
Or separate? Okay.
separate. So that's a change MDOT's made, which I thought was kind of interesting, given your last project.
Yes.
So what'll happen is HRC will generate the paperwork, and then it'll go electronically. HRC signs it, the contractor signs it, the village signs it, MDOT signs it. It goes to different people at MDOT, they sign off on it, and it actually goes much quicker now. I had only one, but it was all done in a day, because everybody happened to be in their office, and you open it, read it, you use Adobe, you sign electronically, email it to the next person in a couple of days maybe, but they're not mailing documents.
Is there a dollar amount on that contract mod too, or is it?
There will be when
There
it's
will be.
repaired.
Okay, so when we sign off, we know what the dollar amount impact is.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that goes for all contract mods, that the village will be a signer of all of them.
Well, it shouldn't change from what we've got, right? This should be it.
There may be a few additions or modifications. I believe there's a gate valve and well that's listed on there that doesn't exist.
Doesn't
You know,
exist,
it-
right.
I don't-
Reductions are good.
I can't guarantee that I'll be reductions, but it will change a little bit, but that, when we formalize that contract mod, we would have incorporated those small changes.
That would be
Okay.
mostly accepted.
I'm sorry,
That would be mostly accepted.
yeah.
What about, I have a quick question too, the historical carriage stops, or those stones, are we keeping those?
They are.
Yeah,
and
we do those,
We
okay.
pointed those out when we did the walk.
Okay, perfect, so they won't get destroyed
Yeah, they'll be
or?
replaced in kind in the current location.
Perfect, okay, perfect.
Replaced in kind.
Meaning that they'll be removed, work will be done, and then they'll be put back where they
Okay,
currently
you're not
were.
putting in different.
No, no.
Okay,
No.
so they'll be replaced the same.
The
That
same,
one.
yes,
Okay,
correct. yes.
all right, I'm good with that.
Mr. President, I'll resolve to approve a contract number 15-5101 between the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Village of Armada for the reconstruction of East Main Street, and authorize the street administrator, Lyle Ballard, to sign all documents required in conjunction with its approval on behalf of the village.
Then
Okay, you need to also add the village president.
Village
because We did
president.
talk about that the last
that's on the
meeting.
contract.
To your motion?
Mr. Bell.
Okay, and I will add the village president to that motion.
I'm sorry,
And
we're
then-
still on letter A, which is not a motion, he's making a motion on agenda item B. We haven't gone to B yet?
Yeah, we're just still listening to Roland.
Right,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, you
Unless
jumped
you're
the gun a
not
little bit.
I will withdraw the motion.
Okay,
See
sorry.
what happens when you don't have a clerk.
I just wanna, sure.
Thanks for catching that.
No problem.
Any other questions, council, to the engineer? Okay, thank you.
Now move to be.
Or the B. Yeah, right. So now we will move to B to assign a signer for the contract number 15-5101 between MDOT and the Village of Armada for the East Main Street project underground.
Mr. President, I also move to resolve to approve contract number 15-5101 between Michigan Department of Transportation and the Village of Armada for the reconstruction of East Main Street, and authorize the street administrator, Lyle Ballard, to sign,
Oh, and president.
and president, to sign all documents required in conjunction with this approval on behalf of the village.
Jump down. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, this
No,
is,
he's
that's
in that
it.
one. He's in that one. Okay.
I'll second.
Moved by Cooper. Discussion? If not, let's see, this is.
No, this is where you have to add the water portion to it, right?
No,
That's-
that's-
This one's separate. This one's separate.
There's two motions with this agenda.
Yeah.
There's the East Main part, and then we have to do the water separate.
Where do you see the water one?
It's right below it. Suggested action number 1.
Oh, I'm not, I'm just, oh, I've got, it's her cover sheet. So
It's
all
the
right.
second sheet that you have, that's the
Yeah,
motion.
that's the motion.
Motion, but I don't, on her front cover of her page, it doesn't show me the two part on it.
No.
So, okay.
All right, so.
I don't want to miss anything for it.
Yeah, I want a roll call on this one,
Roll call.
actually, so, it's involving, big project, actually.
So we're up here in this one.
On that one, yes.
Okay.
So, call roll, please.
Cooper?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Ballard?
Yes.
President Wolak?
Yes.
Motion
Motion
carried.
carried. Okay, now next will be water, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Proceed.
I would like to resolve to add the water portion to this. I'll resolve to accept the proposal by Ajax Paving Industries Incorporated for the East Main Street Water Main Project in the amount of $170,677.50, and authorize the Water Commissioner Steve Clark and the village president to sign all documents required in conjunction with this approval on behalf of the village. This water main project will be incorporated by contract modification to the East Main Street Reconstruction Project number 123-174A, and is a non-participating MDOT item and is the full financial responsibility of the village of Armada.
Moved by Clark and
Support.
by Ballard. Any discussion? And I'd like to have a roll call on this one also, please.
Ballard,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
and President Moore.
Yes. Motion carried. And now we're going to go to Article C, which is engineer's update of the Keats Prospect Bridge project.
My name's Casey Collins with Great Lakes Engineering Group. MDOT received bids for the Teach Street culvert replacement and Prospect Street bridge rehabilitation May 1st. The awards were actually released, or the bids were released a few minutes before the meeting started. So the project is a go now. We're about 2 weeks behind the Main Street project. We got pulled into a additional review with about 25% of the other projects in that ladder. So we'll be following the same process with pre-construction meeting and award of the contract about 2 weeks behind them. The project is scheduled to start no earlier than July 1st per DEQ requirements. And the project completion date is September 25th or open to traffic. Then there's additional time over the winter until June 17th of next spring to assure all the slope restoration and grass is mowable and contractor fills in any deficiencies.
Casey, what's the close date again?
Close date will be after July 1st.
No, I mean that, you're gonna start the project July 1st.
July 1st and it'll end September 25th.
And September 25th.
Yeah, the contractor may have a slightly different schedule, but it has to follow within those dates.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna close the Prospect Street Bridge?
Yeah, the staging is that they'll have to replace the Teach Street Bridge
Yeah, well, I've had that
to
done.
allow maintaining traffic so that they can build the Prospect Street Bridge rehabilitation.
And that's all still within this timeframe?
Yes.
Okay.
So they will probably mobilize and stage, but they can't put a shovel in the ground until July 1st. So we gave them plenty of lead time on the front side for shop drawing review, fabrication, so that they can hit the ground running as soon as the project dates start.
Did we already do the muscle sliver
That's
shell
done.
muscle
That,
study?
I believe it's scheduled for June 6th or June 8th.
All right, so that'll be concluded by July 1st
Yes.
then? Okay. Even if they do find them, that'll be done by
Yeah, they
then?
will relocate them if they find them
Okay.
with that survey.
Perfect.
So they'll be out of the way, moved, and DEQ is going to actually be on site for that survey
Okay,
to witness it and learn from the consultants. So.
okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you, Casey.
No, these are just
Okay.
updates.
That's
The mayor
just
stuff.
that you gotta do. Okay, next is the village engineer's update of scrap tire grant and village projects. Mr. Ballard, do you have any comments at that first?
No, I'll turn that right over to the village engineer, Silas Rowe.
I just had two other things before that, so I don't forget. One, Casey talked to you about the Teach Street project, but I don't know if the council was aware, prices came in more than the engineer's estimate. MDOT has an allowance built into their system that if it comes in within 10% of the estimate, MDOT can automatically approve it. If it's more than 10%, it goes to what's called an administrative board review. That board has to decide whether or not they want to move forward with the project. MDOT has every ability to go back on a project like that where it's a cost share to ask the community to pay more money if they wanted it to go forward. But in this case, MDOT hasn't done that, so we're anticipating MDOT will pick up the difference with that project. So that's the best news of the night.
Was it under 10%?
It was
11.97%.
Oh, right over.
Right around 12%.
Alright.
So, and secondly, while we're talking about MDOT, you're gonna have more paperwork to process like you are with East Main Street for the Keach Street project. And then also, HRC will be doing a form, and we're gonna do a form that goes to the village, and it's authorizing signatories on the documents. And so you name a primary and a backup. Only those two people can sign the documents. So give some thought as to who you want. It's likely your street administrator, but who do you want as a backup for that? So if Lyle can't sign it, you might want to have Michelle be able to do that
Is
after
it
she
for
talks.
contract mods you're talking about?
Yeah, and
Okay.
pay estimates.
Okay.
And then there's a couple other forms that come through toward the end of the project, but, yeah.
Inspection.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, people do take time off, but you need to process those documents,
Right.
and so that's why you need a backup.
Right.
But only those two people named on that form will be allowed to sign.
Is it at the Adobe signature again?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the scrap tire grant project, I was talking to Lyle before the meeting. I sent an email out earlier today about it, recapping. So the village was one of the communities that were awarded the amount that he requested for the project, which was around $63,000. But what's happened in the meantime is there's only one asphalt company that's making the mix, and they're up in the Bay City area. And so the prices are a little bit higher, but what's hurting Armada is the distance from there to here and hauling that mix. So what I said in my email is by the time you look at the additional cost of the mix itself, even if you were located north, closer to the plant, you add that factor in plus the cost of trucking it, you're really not saving any money. You're paying almost 50% more for the mix, and you're only getting a 50% grant. So it's, what I said in my email is that, you know, the additional cost negates the opportunities of the grant. And I used the numbers that Roland provided with East Main Street. I looked at the low bidder and then the next four bidders to look at their asphalt prices and compared it to, so that tells me you can get the regular mix for this price, you're gonna pay a lot more for this other mix, so the cost difference in the trucking is meeting your grant.
And there isn't another community that's doing it, so we can share the mobilization? Because I know it's that mobilization
It's
cost,
the-
right?
It's the trucking. So
Okay.
they have to make the mix, and it's a special process they use to make the mix for that particular type of asphalt. So think about an asphalt plant, you know, the real big plants have the ability to make many different mixes in the same day, but they're really big. The smaller guys can make this kind and this kind today. If you needed a different kind, you're gonna come back tomorrow, because they're not making it today. So when they use one of their silos to house that mix, it takes that out of commission for them, and likely you could be the only one needing the mix for that day. So it costs them, plus the mix itself, they have to buy by the container or the barrel. It's a process they have to use to make the asphalt with it, ties them up. So it's up to the village, obviously, but based on the numbers that the asphalt guy gave us and your bids on East Main Street, I don't think using the MDEQ scrap tire grant is really an advantage for you. If anything, it's a hindrance, and what we talked about today in our office is if the project were done during ideal weather, maybe, because keeping the asphalt hot for 2 hours in a truck is a challenge. If If it's not in ideal weather, it's a bad thing. Because when the asphalt gets to your road, it might not be at an optimal temperature. And the other problem we talked about is it's a 2+ hours one way. So they'd have to dedicate quite a few trucks to make one trip to get your asphalt done, and they probably won't do that. Your job isn't big enough to do that, you're not MDOT paving a freeway. So that means you get a couple trucks, do some of the street, everybody waits for a few hours, and you do more, and everybody waits for a few hours, and every time you wait, you get one more tough joint in the road. I think it would be a battle.
I think we've got a lot.
I'm sorry.
I think we have a lot going on already.
And that's why this evening, when I asked Doug to crunch some numbers for us, see what he can do on what it would cost us just to negate the grant and see what it's going to cost us to pay for that. And do the job instead of using the grant. Pay for it ourselves. We're going to have to look at Joe and say, Joe, can we do it? And if not, then hey, we put it on the back burner, that's all. That'll be the next street that goes. But we've got 2 bridges and we've got East Main Street going on right now. And if we can't do that this year, then hey, well, at least we'll have some ideas for next year and what it's going to cost us.
With that whole project, I mean, you would be grinding asphalt for most of it, but once you got north of the bridge, it would
So the reconstruct.
reconstruct, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the project itself could go fairly quick. If you had a paving contractor out there doing it, I mean, it's not a long duration project, but
Just getting the material here.
that material, yeah. But, you guys are right, you have the street tore up over here, and you have one closed over there. So, I mean, on one hand, I told Lyle, if you had the funding for it, and you wanted to do it, you could put it out for bids pretty quickly. And I'm sure Ajax is gonna look at it pretty hard, because they're gonna
Already
be
up here.
doing some work, so that would work to your favor if you want to do that.
If we want to do that, would the council be willing to have Doug put some numbers together on this?
It wouldn't take me long to give you some numbers, so I told Lyle, I don't like to take them off the top of my head anymore, so I can do that in the morning.
I wouldn't think it would hurt to get the numbers. Then we'd know what it would cost.
Right.
Have a general idea what it's gonna cost.
Then you could look at your street funding and see if you have money to do it.
Sure.
Even with our projects now, Doug, scheduling, if it was, affordable, do you think we could still do it this year?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's not a tough project to put out for bids, so we could get it out for bids, and then we'd talk about when you would want it done. Depends on how you feel about traffic and your fare coming out and all that kind of stuff.
Well, in other words, looking would probably be after the fair then, in other words, right?
I would think it'd be during this, tail end of this one finishes up, and if they could jump right on that, they'd be here
Yeah.
to be able to do it. You're not paying for them to set back up again, and that's why maybe you could get a better cost on it too.
Right.
This one's probably gonna finish up just before fair,
Yeah.
so it would
And
be-
this one out here, they could do during the fair.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
gonna stop a whole lot.
this road really won't hurt any fair
No,
traffic
because
at all.
I
I mean, I don't think it'll hurt to
Gets a
get the
degree
numbers.
of traffic going in and out of the back gates of the fair, so it's not like it's gonna be traffic less.
No, but
And you've got everybody
I think
coming
it
into
can
town
be-
from the north end.
it can still.
Not
be
like you're
done.
gonna get south.
Yeah, I think it still could be done.
Where are we detouring, I'm sorry to go back, but where are we detouring people through for East Main? Where are we routing traffic for that?
I don't know that. off the top of
Well,
my head.
when I was at the meeting down there with MDOT, they said that they were gonna route it out, Center Road to Olmo Road, take it down.
For semis down the dirt road
Well,
though?
yeah.
Okay.
One of the things that we're finding out is Olmo Road this year is slated to be paved from basically Center Road all the way down to 33.
It is?
Yeah.
In two projects.
So
I didn't
Joe
know
had
that.
asked me to contact him,
Yeah,
to talk
see
about
what-
that project, so
Talking to them now.
Okay.
see what their detour plan was for that road.
And their timing?
Yeah. We will be looking into
They'll
that.
probably start the 17th of August. So I told the fair board name about it.
Wow, okay.
Anything else? Thanks, Doug, for your.
Thank you.
Mr. Ballard.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next is the quotation from utilities.
Wait, going back just a second. What, Roland, what do you need from us on this? We just did that? That's,
Yeah, that's what I
so
said.
it's not somebing anybody needs to sign, okay.
No, that's.
I'm good then. Cross my T's, dot my I's.
Okay, Articles E, quotation from utilities and instrumentation, service to calibrate well control to the wells and the water tower.
Yeah, that's one of mine. We've got a letter in here from Ed. I'm just going to read it real quick. Once again, it is time to recalibrate the well control to the wells and water tower. This service is done by Utilities Instrumentation Service, who designed the system. The cost for recalibration is $948. Utility instrumentation is recommending replacing the transmitter at the water tower due to erratic water tower recordings on the weekly charts, which he showed you one of those charts on there. It's real jagged edges. It's supposed to be smooth. The cost of the transmitter replacement is $1,260. I'm recommending that the above well control and transmitter work be completed as soon as possible in order to provide uninterrupted water service to our customers. Last Good Friday, when Ed was off, he had most of his day working because the transmitter was not working. He had to run things manually. They came out and did some work on it, and then it was determined that it's been quite a while since that equipment's been in there, and it needs to be recalibrated and a new transmitter. So if nobody's got any questions, I'd like to make a motion to resolve to allow the DPW supervisor to accept the proposal from Utilities Instrumentation Service for routine calibrations and one new pressure transmitter for a total cost not to exceed $2,208.
Second.
Moved and supported. Discussion.
Hey, can we put these guys under an annual contract or something, come out and check these things?
I don't know if, I'll ask Ed about that.
Sure.
I know we've got the one for just strictly the water tower, and this really has nothing to do with that. These guys handle this equipment, so I'll ask Ed about that.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll call the board, yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
and President Moore.
Yes. Motion carried. Up and coming agenda items. Council items. At this time again, the floor is open for citizen comments. State the name for the record.
Jim Mago.
Yes, sir.
Well, I came by to stop in and just kind of gather some information about this Keats Street Bridge. Wasn't sure how that's going to impact us or not, as we live right at the end of Prospect and Keats there. So, we have a fence there and a gate there that comes out onto Keats Street. And then our mailbox and flower bed and driveway are right at the end there as well. So I'm just kind of gathering some information, and I hope my new friend Casey here will help me figure out what's going on. So that's all. I just try to gather some information.
Okay. You have some questions of Casey, maybe you can answer right off.
Well, I've asked Casey for his card, so I can talk with him.
You'll contact him?
Yeah, I have a set of drawings here that Michelle was very nice to give me a set of copy of those. So
for now, you're satisfied?
yeah, we'll have a discussion to see what, if anything, is going on, so we kind of where we're at. That's all.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else at this time?
We may have a correction here.
What do you got, David?
I'm just showing, I think their quote is $984, not a calibration of $948.
Is that in Ed's letter?
Oh, I'm looking at the quote.
Yeah. Ed's letter is incorrect.
I'm looking at that quote.
Yeah. He transferred the transposed numbers, it should be 984 based on their quote. Instead
So-
of 984.
So we have to, just
Add
do,
40,
yeah, we'll have to do a
down.
motion to amend.
Okay, fitting the proper for a motion to amend that,
Motion to amend to,
for the cost.
restate the cost not to exceed. Steve, you wanna?
So
Steve, you want to redo that?
Well, first we need a motion to amend, and then we'll vote on the motion, and then we'll vote on
I'll make a motion to amend the previous motion on the quotation from Utilities Instrument Services because of the wrong amount.
A second.
can you state the amount that you're gonna amend it to in your motion, Steve?
Did anybody else add it up? Is it 2,244?
That's what I have.
Okay. And amend the amount that previously was $2,208 to now read $2,244.
I'll still support.
$2,248, is that what you said?
No, 44.
$44. And it's 4.5. Do we need to do another roll call?
We'll do a roll call because it's.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
I got the stamp.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Cooper,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
and President Wallach.
Yes. Your motion carried. Motion carried.
Good catch, Dave.
You've been teaching math classes?
This is lucky look.
At this time too, it's council comments. Council have any comments? I don't hear any, so community events, anybody have any community events?
We have the Memorial Day Parade coming up for the ambulance. We have our council meeting next Monday.
Yes.
Council
to
meeting is
Memorial.
next Monday due to the Memorial Day.
The council meeting this Monday?
Monday, the 18th.
Yes,
Monday.
next week.
I don't know if I'm gonna be here.
So we expect to see Mr. Cole.
Concerts in the park will be starting in June, June 12th. Hope to see all the council there.
That's just after our meeting.
We need how many members for a quorum?
4.
So one of you guys are gonna have to be here. You both can't be on.
You gonna be gone, Mrs. Cooper?
I'm not, no, but Conan was saying he's gone and Clark was saying he's gone next week.
I'm not positive yet. I knew I'd be gone the next week. I know we got games, I don't know what
Oh, yeah,
games.
okay.
I'll have to check.
I'm 100% positive, yeah, I did. Let's look at that.
Well,
We'll have to swear Michael back in, put him back in.
We'll have Mr. Coney. He's very
Yeah.
All right.
What would happen if you had enough people and you called a meeting to order because you had a quorum, then somebody had to leave? Do we have to adjourn the meeting? Leave? Okay.
Question mark.
We've never had
So if
that
3
happen?
show up, the only thing you can do is, adjourn the meeting to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Can you just, I thought I read in Robert's rules, you could discuss, you couldn't vote. Okay,
All
adjourn.
you can do is adjourn.
Well, they're going to pay when you guys can leave early.
We don't have a closed session tonight, so anything improper to adjourn?
So moved.
Adjourn at what time?
7:49.
7:49 PM by Ballard.
I'll second.
By Cooper.
Cooper.
All in favor?
Aye.